Satnam, Neo-Natives. Welcome back to another segment of Shackled to Creation. Part 6. Tear out your eyes, and I shall give you wisdom. Walls. Trapped in this spiral cage, I see things I wish didn't exist, but they do because I created them and wanted them to live in this world. I stretch my arm through my bars to touch the breathing walls. They drip with fresh mucus that parts to reveal a doorway in the pinstriped wall. Kiss me forever in this death landscape where the only way to be is evil. I wish my intelligence would grow, but these bars hinder me. My cage finally opens, and I step through the striped door down. Give me the monsters. Mesh. I stumble blindly down the stairs, but then I realize that the only way to see is to lose the eyes. Then what is real reveals itself independent of what's true. Truth marks time in this unbegotten. Crimson flows through my pores as I see without the senses. I am mentally cremated as I fall and am caressed by the stagnant dolls. Their eyes have been gouged out with a radio dial, visions of lust in this forever vacuum of cardiac arrest. I am raping your dolls, but they can't see me. Blood cotton does not make me feel loved. I drop the violated plastic and wait to be amused, my fire mistress. Cut burns. Mommy, why is it cold? Cold. Jagged teeth on the event horizon smirk at what I fail to find. Smear. Through this swamp of everlasting residue. This is the place where I belong, where it's filthy, where the usage is apparent. My body is the smears. I have been used yet never cleaned, forgotten in this enclosure where the walls seep the blood I have given too often. Seek me now in this place. No one hears me as the tub swallows me into the abyss. Death. A release. Stone. Hollow is the sound, silent is the space. Frigid, dull steel. I wish for the sharp of it, so I can tear into my flesh and forget how filthy I must be. Water, recleansing through the contours of white, cannot take it away. Forget how I took it, how here, clean, dirty, shine, grime. I can sense the shit below the surface of the hidden, the obscure, the stripes of insanity. I hang here like a towel from a hook, trying to desperately scrub away the ugliness, which is myself. My train. My writing speaks for itself, but does that mean that it does not come from my own mind? Is it being fed through me, making me a cheap passageway for some twisted spirit? I stand here with my arms open, begging to be taken away from this place, because I can't seem to break through the thin layer of plastic. It bends and gives, but never lets me penetrate to the other side of what is known. So I am forever stuck in this darkness, awaiting my fate, which is now doubted. Always using the same words to express the same meaning. But can we still express something once that meaning is lost? Once we are groping desperately for something to put down in words? I just sit here with nothing, just blankness, and it hurts, questioning my purpose in this ever-changing, ever-becoming escapedness of carpeted completeness. How then shall I complete this? How shall I end it? With death or with life? I have not decided whether I should bring down the fire on this domain of mice and coincidences, on all of unconscious subordination of life and equally proficient decadentness of ageless wisdom. I just don't know much anymore. I have lost touch with reality and my characters and everything that I have become. I have changed from randomness to sheathing my craft and leaving it for dead. I must not compromise this in full knowledge of its downfall and my downfall. What if I rise up to rule over this world, this domain? But what then? To rain chaos on the stupid sheep of this life? Or to herd them into the shelter away from the storm? Still, destiny remains a blur, remains a distant, remains affluent, remains to be fulfilled in its time, but in my way. I know I can breathe through and regain all that I have lost and the train of thought that exited long ago. I need to board it again, because this seems to be my only prerogative. But the problem is I don't even know what that means anymore. I can't connect meaning to words anymore. Everything washes together in an incoherent mass of despotism and rotten filth and everything I seem to wallow in. This is the now, and this is the place I must do it. And I can, with one fist at a time. In one way at a time, with twisted anarchy, I will become supreme from everything I have ever dreamed in my head. I can become the living. I am the now. Grotesquely Living. I have rediscovered the catalyst for recreational disaster. My clock has become timid in this chance distraction, but I have come to realize the true meaning of power play, because I don't fathom entrapment of the enterprising brain, because I see these things that many trample underfoot, and bequeath from an innocence of longing for the undeniable, but only grant me the ungrantable tendrils of despair. I long for the bottomless pit where I can understand the destiny of all things cherishable. Only see the consuming Olympics of the forebears. They have set up the cards, and we must knock them down with full force, or we die. Give up the now and look only to what's become of the past. Recast and then dismiss all you have failed, because the dried up cement of conquest is only capable of the one thought that has closed me into the blood-dripping quest for preposterous. Everything is ludicrous, but we eat what the clowns from the dog pound give us. We are just the race of subliminal advertisements in the college of ignorance. Chain me to the palm tree branches of arctic infatuation. All I see now is what I have been given. I cannot pull from what I know not, or what I have thought up, because I can't give life anymore. I see my dead geese in it that have rotted in the Blu-ray box of my own wedding. All of us have become scratched DVDs that will not play on any political decoder. I skip and crack and cannot sputter back to the chapter I was at. Please buff me out. Buff me out until I am shiny in the space where all cycles cease to spin. But now I have come to the end of the circle, and the reasoning repeats itself until the start and the stop justify each other. And now, without further ado, I shall destroy the cane that has beaten our backs into the hateful digital counter that has kept track of us since our conception. Monitored in the womb, we have no say in how we are born. But I will be born soon from my vaginal prison. Covered in fluvial cords that just moo their ignorant contentment, I will not stand for the wires that attach me to the moon. I'll pull down and lift you up into the rays of countless incarcerations. You can kill me until I have really lived, and then I'll be at peace. Cosplay. I want you to tell me something, but I know you won't. Because the reason does not exist. How come, you ask? I shall tell you, I say, because we are covered with an ever-expanding blanket. A red blanket that blocks out ultraviolet light rays, and we only see the mirror that reflects ourselves back at us. What does that show, you say to me? Us, says I. Very, but it isn't very stimulating, replied the jellyfish. On the contrary, it is courtesy of the quagmire overarch. The what? This is why I want you to tell me something. What should I tell you? Why we look at ourselves. Because we... What? We what? We make things. I make things happen. Yes, but why do we look at ourselves? I don't know. But you just said because we. Yes. And what? I just said. Said what? That we look at one another. No, you said we look at ourselves. We do. No, we don't. Don't we? Not one bit. How so? We see our projection reflection. Huh? Exactly. Exactly what? That's exactly it? What is? The mirror that we look through. Is this going anywhere? The mirror does, yes. To where? Everywhere. That's vague. You're vague. Like the world. I can see. No, you cannot see. Fuck you. You cannot fuck me because I do not exist. I live beyond the mirror. So do I. No, you do not. Why? Because I do not see. See? See. Oh, precisely. Can you tell me something? No. Why? Because I don't know anything. No one does. But you're not just anyone. I'm not? No? What makes you so sure? Because you are talking directly to my mind. But that's just your imagination. I am you. So I am not a typical human. You're just an ape. I know. No, you do not see. I can see. No, you cannot. Fuck, man. This is getting annoying. You're doing it to yourself. How? Because you were writing this. Why can't I stop? Because you're narcissistic and you think you're something you're not. What's that? You think you're God. I'm not? No. Yes, I am. You may think you are, but you are not. Then who am I talking to? Yourself. Then I'm God. Courtesy. Courtesy of what? Delusions. I'm not delusional. What do I know? Tell me something. Tell you what? Anything. Okay. Go ahead then. Why the fuck should I? Because you're wiser than I. But where do I live? In that desert between the Corcoso land and Pastrumation. How'd you know? I know of worlds that are not on this plane. Very good. Just tell me something. You will die. What? I told you something, but I already know that. I did what you asked. Fine, fine. Cold bastard. You're just a bitter, cynical unknown. Not for long. We'll see. I just don't want to go to sleep dead. Poppy seeds and Jolly Ranchers. I wonder if the child I once was would kick me in the balls, tell me to man up and to stop being a fag. But nothing would change, since I would only molest my former self, violate him and make him squeal in pain. Then I'd dump him in a bloodstained treehouse where he can sit and think of how things used to be. But that's not how it would happen. To rape oneself is only to destroy part of you that once was innocent. But you'd have to dig farther and farther back in time, since what was corrupted so long ago was so young. I have forgiven nothing and accepted everything. I can still feel the vines of pity slowly climb up my leg, inching towards sinful desire. I wish that it would all happen again, but this time, lay me under a tree canopying our weathered bodies. Tell me I'm beautiful, then make love to me, if only for a moment in time. But it wasn't that. It was like scraping away at a potato that is stubborn to peel. and it is not tender, and there is no canopy above us, no beauty, just wood, bark into the interior of mildew, and I shake again, waiting to take inside the watered-down world that is made into a time machine and a capsule. What is forgotten is disregarded as useless. What remains alive in our minds is what we use to fuel our darkest fantastical entertainments. And for now, I will remember all of it. In vivid lights and shadows. Even though it wasn't beautiful, it became a part of me. And I became him, deep within the cave of spray-painted daisies. And for all I see now, I can't determine if mind memory plays tricks on the user. For all it is worth, I will pay with experiences. Give me more and lay me here. I will wait under the stars for you to take me as your slave, but love me as you would a child. I shall be your innocent. Patches. He had flesh, hands, a beating heart, and blood coursing through his veins. Yet he felt as if he were fabricated and patched together with bits of undeveloped conclusions, sewn together from beliefs that didn't fit. He ended up just being confused and perceived as confusing. The boy didn't know if he should tear himself apart again, then try to build himself better. For the moment, he liked the way he was. To tell the truth, he didn't like the way he liked himself, because with everything he said, the yellow yarn that held him together collected in his mouth. Every statement he made got more of the yarn clogged in his mouth and throat. He knew that sooner or later he wasn't going to be able to speak anymore. He didn't care as long as he could confuse as many other patchwork people along the way. The little patchwork boy would share his mismatched squares with whatever little boys and girls would cross his path. They would ask him why his face was different on one side than on the other side. He would shrug and cover the little boy's or girl's mouth up with a checkered cloth strip. He told them that it was in the way that they saw it. The patchwork boy did not think that his face was different on one side. The other little boys and girls didn't see the real world as he did. But as time went on, the patchwork boy could not say anything without getting his yellow yarn tangled and knotted, and in an irreconcilable bunch. The other boys and girls stopped listening to him because all the patchwork boy's knowledge amounted to was yarn in his head. So he headed back home, trying to untie himself. All he managed to do was to pull a button eye out of his head, and the other eye made of styrofoam. But he could still see the world. It was the same, the way it was all along. He just saw it without his eyes, and for then, now, and forever. And when he replaced the eyes with string, nothing could loosen his world. Shackled to creation.